Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back here to another special video, my friends. I hope you guys are having a great day out there. Glad to have y'all here. So for today's video, we are going to be talking about here an update regarding the winter chaos that we have been seeing. Obviously, we got a pretty rough start to the winter here. January, we've had a lot of nasty storms roll through, severe weather, winter weather. We just got done with the Tennessee snowstorm that drove a lot of snow across portions of the Tennessee Valley. Now, the good news is, my friends, is that we have ourselves a bit of a more of a quiet period expected here coming up for next week. We have ourselves a lot of storms in the upper northwest, a lot of snowstorms. We have one clipper system we are watching rolling through the Ohio Valley here soon. But other than that, really no massive winter storms like we have been seeing. So as of now, we're catching a break here. But alrighty, guys, we got a lot of stuff to talk about. So let's go ahead and jump right on into it, my friends. If you are new to the channel, consider subscribing, leaving a like. And alright, my friends, let's go ahead and jump on into it. Alright, so the first thing we're taking a look at here is the current conditions based off of the temperature anomalies in the Pacific Ocean. Now, I know that sounds like a lot of gibberish to you. What that basically is saying is that we're measuring the temperatures at the equator to see if they are above normal or if they are below normal. So over the last several months, I mean, you can see the graph going from October all the way to present time. My big old head gets in the way of the January marker, but this is January here. So we can see that the temperature has been above average. We've been in ourselves a range of around 1 to 1.5, a little higher, a little lower at times. Basically saying that the equator temperatures at the Pacific Ocean is really warm, is a lot warmer than normal, and we call this El Nino. Now, I do want to make it clear that we are measuring the ocean temperatures at the surface, not the air temperature. It is a totally different thing here, but I want you guys to remember the fact that we are in an El Nino, because I'm getting ready to show you a graph here in a moment to show you what a typical El Nino winter looks like, and for the looks of it, it does look like we are going to remain in an El Nino for the rest of the winter. Alright, so guys, this is typically what an El Nino winter on average looks like. So obviously, things are not lining up 100% right now, at least from the last week. So we've had a really cold north from that polar vortex that we did get. Now, obviously, this does not 100% always stand true to what it is, but this is just on average of what an El Nino typically brings. Now, we are expected to remain in El Nino for the rest of the season, I believe, which does, on average, I do believe on average that we will typically see warmer conditions up north, maybe a bit of dry conditions towards the Ohio Valley. I think that is a good possibility. But what I'm really confident on is the South, really specifically the South getting tons and tons of precipitation. I mean, we've been seeing that already. This has been happening since literally the beginning of winter. We've had a lot of precipitation down in the south, tons of severe weather. That snowstorm that kind of came down on the northern southeast portion of the United States. Now, this is not always going to hold up for the winter. I'm going to go ahead and say that right off the bat. This is not going to be how the whole winter plays out. Now, obviously, on average, this is how it plays out, but there is going to be times where we do have big Arctic blasts. There is going to be times where we do have the potential for some decent snows across the Ohio Valley. I'm not saying that. I really do believe so. And I'm going to get into exactly which areas I believe could see snow, which areas I believe could not. Okay, so I'll get into that here in a moment, but just know this is typically how an El Nino plays out. Okay, so do you remember this chart that we were taking a look at in terms of the observations of what we have seen out there in the Pacific? So this is what the models have to talk about it. So this is measuring the same thing here. We're measuring the temperatures of the water out there at the equator. And as you can see, there's some pretty interesting little titles here. You might be wondering what this means, NDJ, DJF. This is just months, November, December, January. December, January, February. We have January, February, March. February, March, April. So we go by like every 3 months particularly. And you can see how the models, how they do trend to be above average regarding the temperature anomalies all the way until we reach probably right around like late spring, early summer. So we are going to be in a El Nino more than likely for the rest of the winter. So obviously what we just looked at in terms of a typical El Nino winter, that is going to be mostly how the season plays out. But we're going to get more into that here in a moment particularly. But yeah, these are all the models. The most bottom model also agrees on the fact that, I mean, by the time we reach like at absolute earliest, late winter, early spring, we're still in an El Nino. So obviously we are going to remain in that, but you really can see how the models really do plummet down to the south, back into near normal conditions, which this box in here, this is normal conditions, and anything below, this would be La Nina. So obviously, like I said, we are going to be above until we reach, I believe, really kind of mid-late spring, early summer is when we're going to kind of flop back into normal conditions. And who knows where that could lead us for the summer or even potentially next fall. We'll have to continue to watch that. But anyways, so that we do know. That we are going to be remaining in an El Nino for the rest of the winter. Alrighty guys, so let's go ahead and move on into what I think could possibly happen this winter. Now, you guys have seen this image on the thumbnail and you're probably wondering exactly what it means, and I'm going to go ahead and tell you this. Now, this is not how on average how the winter is going to play out. This is just what I think is going to happen at some point this winter overall. So obviously across portions here of the dark blue out west, which we have been seeing, we've been seeing a lot of mountain snow. That's going to continue up. I think we're going to continue to see that here definitely from time to time, probably mostly throughout this winter. I do think we're going to see a lot of mountain snow. Now, obviously, the south in the green, we're going to continue to see bunches and bunches of precipitation, maybe even a bit of severe weather, in late January, maybe late February could occur out there in the southeast. That still is a possibility, as some setups do typically allow for a lot of moisture and a lot of instability to build in from the southeast. So that is a possibility for this winter. Now you might be wondering this big other blue area. Now this is what I really believe we could have some pretty good winter storms. I really believe that across the dark blue, we have the potential that we could see some pretty nasty storms. I mean, we already seen quite a few strong storms, like one out there by Chicago. We've had some pretty nasty storms out there by, obviously Iowa, Nebraska. I mean, Missouri. We've seen some pretty decent storms out there by like Kansas City. So obviously, there's going to be times this winter where I do believe we are going to be seeing a lot of snowfall for some of these regions. Now, obviously, I do believe this will work its way more down towards the Ohio Valley. I do think we'll see some pretty good storms. Also, we're still watching out for potential of a lot of nor'easter activity that could happen up in the northeast. I think that is possible. Now, then you kind of realize the pink area. Well, what does this mean? This is where I believe that winter is mostly going to be battling. This is your winter battle zone. This is where I believe it's going to be mostly around a mix during some storms. I think we could get a lot of ice potential out in these areas here. Like we've already seen, typically we just seen a snowstorm roll through the Tennessee area, cause a little bit of ice concerns up there towards like Mississippi, Alabama, and Georgia. I do think that's possible. Now, I don't think we're going to see too many times where we're going to have snow dig further south than the pink line. I mean, obviously, it's possible, if all conditions meet up, which is a pretty rare scenario overall. I think it's very unlikely that we'll see snow any further past this line, but I mean, who knows? You never know. If it's going to happen, it would happen during a year like an El Nino. So that is what we're looking at there, my friends. So yeah, once again, a lot of rainy south across the green. I do think a potential for some pretty good snowstorms across the, kind of the mid shade of blue with the darker blue. A lot of upper level snowstorms. I should have added another color for the upper northwest here, because we've been seeing a lot of barrages of precipitation been slamming up against the upper northwest, which has been leading to a lot of mountain snow, which is what the blue is typically showing. Obviously, I could have probably excluded that from central Oklahoma, but just a little bit of an edit error on my part. But anyways, that is, what I do believe. But obviously a lot of rain up in the upper northwest as well, I think could be possible. If we continue to see a lot of those swaths continue to, batter these areas, I think we could see a decent amount of precipitation. But anyways, my friends, well, that's really all I wanted to talk about. This is not like a full-blown winter forecast like we have done before. It's just kind of a little bit of an update for you guys. I hope you guys did enjoy it, and if you did, please consider leaving a like and commenting down below what you guys thought of the video. It'd be much appreciated. Obviously, once again, thank you guys for hanging out here. Thank you all for watching it. And all right, y'all. Well, that's gonna go ahead and wrap it up. That's what I believe this winter. Like I said, in the mid blue, good potential for a few strong storms and all of that stuff, my friends. But overall, we'll see how this winter plays out. And obviously, no matter what happens, if we do get a crazy storm, we'll be on it like we have been literally ever since the creation of this channel, pretty much. So, all right, you guys. Well, you all have a wonderful rest of your day. Once again, thank you all for being here. You all have a great day. We'll be live here later on this evening. Obviously, if you're watching this in the future, this would not matter. But yeah, we're going to go live again this evening, you guys, in order to do a little update for you guys in the current world of weather and stuff like that. But once again, y'all, if you're new to the channel, consider subscribing, leaving a like. And all right, my friends, well, we'll catch you guys here later on. Y'all have a great day, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace out, my friends. Catch you later.